dog?
Jones.
Okay.
Okay. I think that we're live. I think that part of that was part of that employment abuse was actually broadcast. Hello, cats and kittens. Welcome to the Reels in the Round on the rectangular table. An alliteration we can't finish because there's no word for table that starts with R.
We can make one up.
We've checked.
We can make one up.
You're gonna have to it needs to be etymologically sound. It needs to have some reason to be an R word that means table.
I'm sure we could think of something.
Yeah, no, we do. But this week we watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. We are here with Ronan and Salem and myself, and Ronan, kick us off.
Okay, well, I just want to firstly say that's a long name for a movie.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Yeah.
It is not even close to the longest title I can think of.
Is it really?
No, I think...
You think of like a series type of thing?
No.
Okay.
So the longest title that I could think of, if forced to say it, would be To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar.
I see.
And that is an honest-to-God real movie title. Now, without subtitle. Now, subtitle, the longest I can think of is Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Get Over Myself and Just Love the Bomb. That is honest to goodness Stanley Kubrick's full title of that film. Yeah, hold on one second.
Okay. Are you searching up another longer one?
Yeah, I am actually. Hold on one second. Let's find you two talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna find the longest movie title.
Oh jeez. It's like, 'cause I can think of like a pretty long band name.
Okay, what's the longest? Get Cape, Wear Cape, Fly.
No.
Get Cape, Wear Fly is one of my favorites.
So, if I'm not wrong, the name of this band is I don't know how, but they found me.
That's good.
Let me double check that.
Who found you?
Because like many times it's just like the acronym.
Okay, hold on.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how, but they found me.
So the longest movie title, according to no way. Okay, so here we go. There is a movie called Night of the Day of the Dawn.
Okay.
And the actual title is Night of the Day of the Dawn of the Sun of the Bride of the Return of the Revenge of the Terror of the Attack of the Evil Mutant Alien Flesh-Eating Hellbound Zombified Living Dead. And it is a series of parody films written by James Riffle as spoofs, adding his own scripts on already known films and television footage and deleting the original scripts for the films.
That title makes me want to slam my head on the table.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. But again, for those playing the home game, that is Night of the Day of the Dawn of the Sun of the Bride of the Return of the Revenge of the Terror of the Attack of the Evil Mutant Alien Flesh-Eating Hellbound Zombified Living Dead. I will give you $25.
What if you can repeat it?
If not, not even right now, if by next week, unprompted on this show, you can say that title. $25. This is how we do allowance in my house. $25 if you can say that title unscripted. I offered her $100 once if she could sing at the end of We Didn't Start the Fire. That bounty has never been collected.
Piper's working really
Piper is working on it. There's $100 bounty if you could sing Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire in its entirety. Like I said, I have to be able to ask you questions. Like, you don't have to know everyone, but I always go, if I say to you, Children of Thalidomide, what's that? You have to be able to give me like a basic answer of what a child of thalidomide is.
I see.
And I gave that, I think 3 years ago. That $100 has gone unclaimed.
And then you said that you give me $100 if I remember Raven.
Yes.
Oh wow.
She was studying Edgar Allan Poe. I said I'd give her $100 if she could quote to me The Raven. Again, a bounty. I think that I'm the best father ever when it comes to allowances. This is real money for cool skills. Nope.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Yep.
Like those things could be Jeopardy questions someday.
I doubt they're going to like quote Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven in its entirety. But
I mean, instead it might be like, what is the 12th line of The Raven? Like that could be a question. Or like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Okay, so that was the number one. Was the Night of the Day of the Dawn of the Blah, 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 blah. The number two is the persecution and assassination of Jean-Claude Marat as performed by the inmates of the Asylum of Charlatan under the direction of the Marquis de Sade, Peter Brook, 1967. That is the title.
Okay, then. That sounds like a play.
Absolutely. Hold on. I want to get down to some of the shorter ones. I want to find one that I've actually heard of.
Right?
So, hold on.
Okay.
Number 20 I've heard of. I want to just make sure that I didn't just...
I think it just sounds familiar.
Nope. Okay. The 20th longest film, film title, is actually one you've heard of as well.
Okay.
It's Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, Larry Charles, 2006.
So I've heard of it. I've just never seen it before.
For the record, I've never seen Borat either, but that's not the point. The point is you've heard of it.
Because I see it on Amazon all the time. So tempted to watch it.
So,
are you gonna say we got carried away?
No, not even.
Okay.
So tangents are my jam, man. Again, when I was doing my Twitch show, I had a Twitch show for a little over a year. When I was doing my Twitch show every day, I did Nerdy News at noon, and we actually had programmed into OBS people could do a tangent counter because Corey and I would just go off and talk about just the weirdest crap. It was a great show. I love that show.
I was gonna say, and here's a tangent over the tangent.
This is a tangent about tangents, and this shit just got meta.
Oh man!
Now we should probably.
You don't know what a tangent is?
Come on, she's going into high school. Hold on.
So
I have lost the stream, so let's hope that we're there. It is. There it is. So Leslie, about the play that I just said, about the thing you said that sounds like a play. Leslie, who has a degree in theater and a background in theater, she said it is a play, followed directly by "Don't watch it." Solid advice. I know nothing about it, but John Paul, one of our regular viewers, also said Master and Commander of the Far Side of the World. That's a pretty long one. I'm still gonna go with Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, as a movie I've actually seen, and I want to make sure I get the Doctor Strangelove title fully correct. It's the full title is, for the record, Doctor Strangelove is a Kubrick that I adore. Don't watch Borat either. Yeah.
Very tempted.
The full Doctor Strangelove. Now that Doctor Strange is okay.
Yeah.
Here it is. Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, more commonly known as Doctor Strangelove, is my favorite Stanley Kubrick by far. It is a great film. So check it out. Okay. So, but this week, in your second week of indoctrination into the Charlie Kaufman, we watched Eternal Sunshine. This was not only your second foyer into Charlie Kaufman, it was your introduction to Michel Gondry, who is one of my favorite directors. A
music video artist.
Well, he's done some other films and things too, but yes, he definitely got his claim to fame in music videos and commercials and such. Walk me through it. So we're going to do this. I want to hear what you think of. There it is, Michel Gondry and Charlie Kaufman. Wow, they look like they could be brothers. Wow. Okay. So what did you think of what do you think of Michel Gondry?
Oh, he's pretty interesting.
Have you seen any of the other things he's done?
No. And I was going to suggest one.
Okay.
The second guy on the list, Be Kind, Rewind.
Okay.
Have you seen that one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the most important thing. Do you even know what that phrase means?
No. Is it like an 80s type thing? 90s maybe?
I think you broke him.
So I get a screwdriver to fix you up, or?
Guys, that just happened. I know that Leslie, you're forgiven.
I mean, I'm still a child. It's
Thank you, John Paul. I know. You know that I know. I know that you know. It's him not even knowing. So it used to be when you rented movies, they were VHS tapes. You've seen a VHS tape, I imagine?
Yes.
In your life, you've seen one? Cool.
I used to own some.
So you used to get charged a fee at some rental places if you didn't rewind the tape at the end. So if you returned to, so it was the really annoying thing. It's Friday night. You went, you got yourself a pizza and a 2-liter of whatever, and you got yourself a VHS of Titanic or whatever.
Sleeping Beauty. Sure.
No, Ronan, you did not pick up. No, you did not pick up Sleeping Beauty.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the VHS tapes I had.
in the story where you are going out and picking up pizza and
Okay, yeah.
for your Friday night at home.
In that
It was
reference-
not Sleeping Beauty. It wasn't.
Why would it be Sleeping
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be Sleeping Beauty.
I'm just giving options, you know.
You'd pick, and so they used to put stickers on the front. Blockbuster specifically said, "Be kind, rewind," because
I
the
see.
most annoying thing is you'd get home, you'd throw the movie in, and it'd be at the end. And rewinders by the like, I know this sounds like it really could take as many as 5 to 8 minutes for it to rewind. If you had like an old VHS, then you could buy like speed rewinders that put it in and like did it in like only a minute to 90 seconds. But it wasn't like whatever, just hit chapter back. No, like rewinding the tape really could, if it was a longer tape, take 5 to 8 minutes. And if you did something like Titanic or Braveheart, or that was a double cassette, then you either had to rewind them both at the beginning or halfway through the movie, you had to take a 5-minute intermission to rewind the second. It was really annoying.
Yeah.
So Be Kind, Rewind is a reference to people that are old.
How does it feel?
I hate you. I hate you so much. I hate you. Anyway.
So that makes sense with the summary then.
Yes.
It's like I clicked on it, read the summary on IMDb,
Sure.
and that made me want to watch it.
No, yeah.
So
no.
yeah, it makes sense.
It is a classic Michel Gondry. Okay. So we can add that to the list.
Okay.
Now, adaptation from Charlie Kaufman we watched last week. Anomalisa, I've never even heard of. And I've never seen I'm Thinking of Ending Things. So you picked some interesting ones.
It was the same ones I was on last week.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 2 weeks ago.
Synecdoche, New York should be up there. I just bought it, so I have
see.
it for you to see. But
Okay.
So what did you think? Like Michel Gondry has a very specific. That's what. Yeah. Let's hit that one, and we'll come back.
Okay.
Jim Carrey, Joel Barish, Ace Ventura, The Mask, The Majestic. If there's something I love about Ronan, it's his choices of what he chooses to be. Like that is just such an odd choice. I'm not actually.
I mean, with Jim Carrey is a hard one because he has a lot of good movies.
I know, but it's like you didn't pick his most popular. You didn't pick his biggest earnings. You
Really?
didn't pick his most famous, not by a long shot. You didn't pick. It's so interesting the things you chose. No judgment, just interesting.
Well, because I would think Ace Ventura is one of his most popular ones.
No, absolutely. Ace Ventura, that one doesn't surprise me. That one.
I see.
The Mask.
I was actually going to mention The Mask
Okay, what about it?
because a few weeks ago, when we watched Donnie Darko,
Sure.
one of the films I was gonna like bring up as like, oh hey, this reminded me of this film, The Mask.
Donnie Darko reminded you of The Mask?
All the way, yep.
You're gonna have to make that make sense.
Because you know how in The Mask, Jim Carrey has to put the mask on. Well, he does every night.
Sure.
I thought it was the same thing with Donnie Darko, where he was putting on the bunny suit to do the crimes.
Oh. And like forget
Yeah, and then forgetting.
if that'd be how that turned out, okay. I buy it.
But then like when we did Donnie Darko talking about it, I totally forgot about The Mask. So
So
yeah.
and then Kate Winslet, of course. Titanic, had that not been your first choice, oh geez.
I had to.
Sense and Sensibility, again, that makes sense. Revolutionary Road.
I see what you did there.
No Judgment. Interesting choice.
Haven't seen those two.
They're good.
Okay.
They're what?
Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and Tron.
Who was Elijah Wood in Tron? Oh, the animated.
Yeah, the
doesn't
show.
count.
The show.
Voices don't count.
I didn't know it was
Who
animated.
was he in Star Wars Resistance? Again,
It's also
animated.
a show. Yeah.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
I mean,
Again, Elijah Wood, Lord of the Rings, clearly.
yeah, I was gonna.
I'm a little bit happy that you didn't just put, Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and Return of the King.
I was gonna say, to be fair,
You almost did, didn't you?
No. I was making a thing where I didn't. I mean, I could have done the same thing with Mark Ruffalo. So
You could have. You could have. Now, the fact that Elijah Wood's, some of his best performance, like Elijah Wood is in a movie called Everything is Illuminated that is amazing.
Mhm.
He got his start in a movie called Huckleberry Finn where he played Huckleberry Finn. You missed some of his golden moments here by choosing some of his more modern.
I was gonna say I didn't really know much of him, and I I mean, IMDb did not help me whatsoever because most popular on IMDb was Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that doesn't help at all. Mark Ruffalo, of course, we all know as
As
Bruce
Hulk,
Banner now
yep.
these days. So you have Hulk, Spotlight, and Foxcatcher. Those are relatively decent. I would have done Hulk, Foxcatcher, and 13 going on 30. Come now.
I see.
Have you not seen? You've not seen
No.
13?
I have.
It's epic. It's good. I like it.
I mean,
like it.
to be fair, I haven't seen Spotlight or Foxcatcher either. So
I weep for the future of America. Watch more movies. He is in The Good Son. Oh my gosh. Also known as The Beginning of the End for Macaulay Culkin.
I was gonna say, isn't this what this whole show is about? Me watching more movies.
Yes.
So I mean,
John Paul came in and said one of his favorite Jim Carrey movies is the number 23. It is good. I think they overplayed their hand a little bit in that movie, but it's really great as Jim Carrey's against type. You should have done Man on the Moon for Jim Carrey because he lost his mind.
I'm not sure if I've seen that one.
That's going to be on our list. Man on the Moon is classic. The Good Son, that's good. That's
I see what you did there.
Yeah, right. Yes. Oh my God. I'd forgotten he was the brother, that he was the good son, even though Macaulay Culkin's the good son.
And at this moment, Kirk was enlightened.
That's a good one. Anyway, so let's start from the top. Talk to me about Michel Gondry. The directing style. Have you seen anything like this before?
No.
Thoughts?
Interesting, to say the least.
Walk me through it. This is different. So I can get into a lot of things. This movie's a little older than you think. I mean, well, exactly how old it is, but most of the things in this movie, it's remarkably important to know, were not special effects. They were practical effects. The problem with modern filmmaking, I say, the problem with you whippersnappers is you're so used to the computers. This movie was 2005, 4.
Hello, alarm.
It's time to wake up, Kirk.
Pardon me. Brain stopped working. No, so nope, it's gone.
Effects.
Oh, yeah. We are so used to practical effects. I mean, special effects these days, and everything is computers and mocap suits and green suits. No, I'm not saying that nothing was done in editing, but a lot of this stuff, the houses crumbling, the things, it might have been stop motion. It might have been some compositing, but Michel Gondry takes a lot of pride in things not being done in the computer. They are done in some way practically. And so when you watch this movie and you're like, oh yeah, all these things are disappearing and he's running, and all of a sudden he's this kid in this giant sink.
Oh yeah, I love that.
They built a giant sink that wasn't CG, and nowadays that you see less and less of that these days, which is a shame.
Yeah.
A shame.
Don't mock me. there's no
you calling a shame.
Okay. So, Michel Gondry, Charlie Kaufman. This is your second movie. What do you? So we have adaptation. Now we have this. What do you think?
I can kind of see some similarities.
Really?
But after you showed me those music videos, not so much similarities.
So you think that this was more strongly a Michel Gondry film than a Charlie Kaufman film?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the main similarity, which, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but almost like the looping.
Charlie Kaufman, all of Charlie Kaufman's works.
Was looping?
Not looping. It's all cerebral. It's all things are in your head. Things are being John Malkovich, which we still need to see. Synecdoche, New York, which we still need to see. You've seen adaptation, and it's very in your head. So it was voiceover narration and adaptation.
There's this in here too.
In this, there was some voiceover, but there was also just.
It was mainly at the beginning.
Charlie Kaufman is yes, he's a surrealist, but I think the best way to describe his work is cerebral. He's very in and about the brain, and that's cool.
That is another thing that caught me off guard too, which probably would be effects. I don't know. You can tell me otherwise.
Sure.
If it isn't, the cloning, when Jim Carrey was cloned and watching himself during the different memories.
What about it?
Was that done with special effects or no?
Define special effects in that context. Remembering that in
masking,
that's not a special effect.
Oh, it isn't. Oh,
remember that that Haley Mills did The Parent Trap in the 60s. Double exposing film is not a new concept.
I see.
Haley Mills did without the use of a computer at all. Haley Mills did The Parent Trap, where she played her identical twin standing. Patty Duke did it on television. Lindsay Lohan did it again in the 90s. But again, they were not using computers to do that. We are so quick to like, oh, well, you need a computer. No, that's the tool they use now. But I was doing double masking in film school without the use of a computer. Like that. So it's a special effect in that it's not real. Like there was only one. They didn't actually clone Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
But that was not a computer effect.
Interesting. Okay.
What I loved about this movie is that it wasn't supposed to make any sense.
Okay. So you don't think it made any sense at all?
No, like it didn't make any sense, but it didn't make.
Are you saying you wouldn't degrade any memories like casually?
Are
on
you
a
saying
Wednesday?
you forgot what happened?
Okay, so stop.
Yeah.
I like that it didn't make complete sense. It made somewhat sense, but not.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, that's the point, though. Like, it's about a guy losing his memories, and I love that he's like, "Are there any risks of brain damage?" He's like, "Well, strictly speaking, this is brain damage." Like, it was like, yes, strictly speaking, this is in fact brain damage. Yeah, no, I like it. It is intentionally very cerebral. It's very inside your head. Now, Salem, you're below the target audience of this film. What did you think?
It was cool. It kind of reminded me of a story arc I did with a friend of mine.
Okay, what was that story arc?
There was somebody kept resetting the timeline, and everybody was like really confused on why everything was looping.
Interesting. So even though the timeline was resetting, everyone in the timeline remembered the timeline was resetting?
It was like deja vu. Nobody could really remember. And the thing is that the timeline was different every single time.
Interesting. It just sounds like a boring weekend. But yeah. It's like, man, this feels like Saturday again. Good God, did we do anything yesterday? No, I haven't showered in days. That's just my life, really.
It's not the first yet.
Okay. So Eternal Sunshine, Michel Gondry, we talked Charlie Kaufman. Key tape. Let's do the next slide.
Oh, already?
Yeah. Well, unless there's other things you want to talk about.
Oh, yeah, there was.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, well, to make more sense of this movie, it's like a reverse love story.
Interesting. I won't disagree with that. It's a little bit 500 Days of Summer. Have you seen 500 Days? Oh my God.
104 days of summer vacation.
That's Phineas and Ferb.
And school comes along just to end that.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a movie called 500 Days of Summer. It's a top 5 film for me. Love it.
Okay.
Absolutely love it. But it's similar. It's a love story in reverse. Okay. The love story in reverse. Continue. Keep talking.
And then another thing you brought up. Oh, no. Not you brought up. But another confusing thing about this movie, same topic as what you were mentioning, is, well, maybe you can clarify this. How was, not Clementine. Is it Clementine? Yes.
Yes.
How was Clementine, like, in Jim Carrey's memories, knowing other things that didn't happen in his memories? Like, how is what she knew affecting her knowledge in the future memories?
Want me to blow your mind one step bigger than that?
Okay.
You're asking the wrong question. In this movie, how much do we see the real Clementine?
Not that much, actually.
Oh, shoot. It's just the beginning, isn't it?
And the very
in
end.
the end.
The rest is just his memories.
So the question being, do you have anyone in your life that everyone that lives in your head, anyone that is not in the room, they only exist as your memories? And you can say, no, but that happened. My brother did that. My mother did that. My father did that. My friend did that. And you can remember it. But that existence, the reality of that situation is entirely encapsulated in your memory of it. If I asked your friend, if I asked Tyler, hey, what happened that one day? He would give me a slightly different version. He saw things different. He was in a different mood.
Yeah.
Those moods and those things colored it. So the question isn't, how was she able to leave? The question is, how much of that was actually Clementine, and how much of those were overhyped emotional memories or over negative, like the don't take this one's perfect. Was it really perfect, or is that just how he was choosing to remember that moment? And the moments that were really bad, that they were fighting and they were the most
Upset.
venomous and most upset, was that really what happened, or was that just his memory? So as he's going through, the question isn't how was she, a real person, because she wasn't, able to get into other memories where she didn't belong. The question is that version of Clementine in any way related to Clementine that we meet at the beginning and the end, where she's like, I wouldn't do that. I don't do that. I wouldn't think that you did. I hate that you said that about me. I don't think that. I wouldn't say that about you. So the question is she denying something that she would do that we know she did do, or were those just rejection sensitivities and overly bearing moments where he had changed Clementine in his own memory, which is something that we know for a fact we as humans actually do. The entirety of this movie, with the exception of the first 4 minutes and the last 5, is only a specter of a human being through Joel's memory. So of course she's able to go anywhere that he brings her, because that person, doesn't actually exist. She is literally just the shell. She's an idealized version of Clementine, or a villainized version of Clementine. She bears no resemblance. We do not know how similar. When we watch those memories, we don't know if that's what really happened. All we know is that's how Joel remembered it. And they even kind of cover that when he storms out and she says, why'd you leave? And he was like, I was so afraid. He's like, why don't you go back? He's like, because there's no more memories. He's like, well, then just make more memory. Like they cover in the movie that these memories are false, or at least to a degree false. And they are just what he wants them to be, or how he wants them to be, or how he like made them to be. So the question is, did Clementine in his memory, was she a real person at all? No, that's a real question. So Leslie came in. I'm going to pull this one up on screen. It's the woe of the manic pixie dream girl. And like we see this also in Garden State, a movie you need to see, but I'm sure you haven't seen it. The concept of, and this is a real problem in, men and women and everything, but like throughout this entire movie, the only Clementine we ever meet is his vision of her, the perfect woman and the perfect villain. Clementine, I'm not saying she's not a dynamic and interesting character, because she is, but she's also a very, very, very polarized character. In every scene, she is either his spirit guide. Joel, let's do this. Let's be wonderful. She's either being wonderful and helpful and loving and his Jiminy Cricket spirit guide. She is an idealization of the perfect dream girl memory, or the perfect bitch that is awful and horrible and deserves his hatred. She is not a stale character, but she is. So I'm not saying like she was a flat, undynamic character. She was very, very dynamic, but she only existed in perfect extremes: the perfect guide, the perfect woman, or the perfect bitch. And so you have to ask yourself, did she really exist? And the answer is no, because no one's like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eternal Sun, and that, for the record, that is where you said this one, you didn't see the similarities. That wasn't Michel Gondry. That was Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Now I'm over here being enlightened.
Yeah. So John Paul just came in. Our entire lives are colored by perceptions. Perceptions shape everything. And like we say in the military, perception is reality. And it's kind of a BS thing to say, but no, if I think of you as always late, but you're like, I'm never late. Doesn't matter. If I think of you as always late, I'm going to treat you like you're always late. And I'm going to, if your late is 1 minute late and my late is 10 minutes early, my perception of you, it doesn't matter your reality. My perception is my reality. Yeah. And this entire movie is about that. The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, the poem that Kirsten Dunst reads, is about that. It's that if you have no perceptions, if you have no perspectives, if you just, it's always sunny if you don't think very much. It's an eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. Like everything is good if you don't put your own opinions on it. And this movie is 100% about people forcing their opinions and like onto a situation. Watch it again. I really think you should. I think you should watch it again because it is amazing to me the things you see the second and third time. You realize that Clem doesn't exist. Clem is nothing more than his manic pixie dream girl. And so at the end, when he says, I really like you, like, let's get, you have to ask yourself, will it work this time? Because they were both hasty the first time, or were those memories closer? Will this be history repeating? Or will it not? The one grounding rod is a very unexpected one. The one grounding rod throughout this film is actually Elijah Wood, because Elijah Wood saw the memories on both.
Yeah.
Elijah Wood, and he's a creepy, unethical dude, but like, he was responding to seeing her memories. But again, he only saw her perceptions of what happened.
Yeah.
And as Leslie also just pointed out again, you have to remember your mistakes or you will keep making them. So the fact that they meet at the end, having forgotten the whole saga, are they better now? Will it happen again? Did it ever happen that way in the first place? This is Charlie Kaufman. It's absolutely a recursive riddle of cause and effect.
I mean, with how we saw with the doctor and the secretary, I think it will happen again.
Exactly. Because he didn't erase his memory. He just erased hers. And I love that scene between the husband, the now estranged wife. And it was like, oh, don't be a monster. Tell her you can have him. You already did. Like, when you remove the background, it doesn't change how you feel. It doesn't change who you are. It doesn't change what you want. It just changes what you remember. And if you take away what happened, you never learned anything, and you're back to that kind of core state. So it's fascinating. It's a fascinating thought experiment. I love this movie.
Yeah. And another, not movie, but show that it also reminded me of is a show that I'm actually watching on Amazon right now.
Which one?
Upload.
Oh, I watched the first season. What'd you think?
I'm in the midst of the first season.
Okay.
But can you see how it correlates? Or
I do. That's an interesting, that is a fascinating jump. No, I like that, which also reminds me of an episode in season 3 of Black Mirror of the same basic concept of at the end, when you die, heaven is a computer you go to. Same basic concept. But yeah, that all we are is a series of memories and perceptions. And theoretically, that could be uploaded.
And then another thing that you were kind of just hinting at a little bit ago, in Upload, the mom of the angel,
sure,
I forgot her name, but no, not the mom of the angel, the dad of the angel. Yeah,
I don't remember there being a mom, so okay, but I'll go with it. Yeah, the dad of the angel.
The dad of the angel is just like, would you still like him if you didn't know all of his memories first?
Right. Or What Dreams May Come. Leslie just popped in. Have you seen What Dreams May Come? Robin Williams. Also a great movie. Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr. Robin Williams, 1996 or 7. And again, it's about true love and soulmates and a lot of these same questions. It's a really interesting
topic.
It's a really interesting way to address these questions. So, I like it. Good stuff. Good stuff. What's next?
So 20 million generated 74.
Awesome.
Awards won: Best Writer, Best Screenplay.
Awesome. So he won an Academy Award and a BAFTA.
Yep.
And then 8.3 on IMDb, 92 on Rotten Tomatoes, 89. That I have no issues with it. I think that this movie, as far as both entertaining and funny and interesting and very cerebral, but not heavy-handed and like, got it, we get it. Like lots of times when things get particularly cerebral, they get a little heavy-handed in lesson teaching, and this doesn't do that. This is not. You can watch this movie just for the fun wackiness of it. Yeah. Or you can watch this movie and have a really deep conversation with yourself. I agree with 100% of those. I give it a high 80, low 90 as far as a movie I just love.
And then, did you just say comedy or?
Yeah.
Oh, because
this is a dark comedy. This is absolutely like, I'm not saying it's a like ha funny. Chris Farley doesn't fall down any hills in this. It's not laugh out loud funny, but this is there's absolutely some mirthy, dark, like mirthy. Yeah, it's a word. Mirthy's a word. Full of mirth. Of mirth. With mirthitude. That's not a word. M-I-R-T-H. Mirth. Amusement, especially as expressed in laughter. Mirthy.
Okay, that's what you're not.
Dang.
Okay.
Well, what I was gonna say is like watching this movie, knowing that Jim Carrey's in it.
Yep.
I didn't really see like the full potential of Jim Carrey's funniness in here.
So I love that you just said that.
Okay.
Finish your thought. Was that the end of that?
Sure, it can be.
Have you ever seen the movie? Have you ever seen the show House? House MD ran for the.
Oh, it's the medical show, right?
Yeah.
No, I've not.
Oh,
You're gonna making these associations really hard if you've seen nothing.
I
But
love that show.
I love it. It was one of my favorite shows forever. It, ran from 2005 to 2011 or something.
Okay. Like Grey's Anatomy.
Before it was before.
Or is it kind of like it, or?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
similar, except Grey's Anatomy is about a whole ensemble of people, whereas House is about House,
Okay.
one man.
Because I've seen some episodes of Grey's Anatomy.
But
Right.
House is a horrible, mean, abusive, jackass doctor.
Okay.
He is straight-faced, stoic, and truly, he is a kind of a Sherlock Holmes meets a doctor, but
Interesting.
very, very standoffish, very like kind of sociopathic, like just jackass guy. The character was played by Hugh Laurie. Do you know who Hugh Laurie is? The most important thing to know, Hugh Laurie's gone on to do a lot of things since, but before House, the most important thing to know is that Hugh Laurie was a almost exclusively very physical British comedian.
I see.
So you think to yourself, why on earth would you take someone with a really high kind of foppish voice
Yeah.
and give him this stoic, slow, angry countenance?
Mhm.
And that is because to be dramatic, to be dramatic and not mean, you need to know how to be funny. Take Joel and make Joel Nicolas Cage. Sorry. Make Joel your favorite actor, any other actor that is known for being Chris Evans. Make Joel any character that is more known for being drama.
Mhm.
He's a raging jackass.
I see
The
that.
reason we like Joel is that Joel's time, and I'm not saying it's because we know of him as Ace Ventura and it's funny.
Mhm.
It's that the timing to be able to be this heartless. You just assume I F someone. Yeah, like you think I went out and F someone. No, I assumed you F someone. Isn't that how you get people to like you? That comment, which was supposed to be cutting, his timing made it not funny, but made it cutting and insightful
I
and
see.
deep. Whereas had it been from Benedict Cumberbatch, it would have just been mean.
I see.
I think they needed a Jim Carrey in this role because otherwise the character wouldn't have been likable. And I don't mean it's because like, yeah, we see the mask and it makes us. No, it's that it takes a comedic timing. It takes an understanding of laughter to do this stuff and not just sound like a jackass.
I see. That makes sense.
Also John Paul, mine as well. I love House. But like if you go back and watch Blackadder or his older 80s and 90s stuff, he is a very high-pitched British comedian.
I see.
And suddenly you get him on House and he is just stoic. But House is hysterical. The show is truly funny. And some of it's just the timing, but it's not boom funny.
Yeah.
But the timing was important. And that is why Jim Carrey, I think, was important for this role. Same thing with Man on the Moon, which is not a comedy. Same thing with The Majestic, which is not a comedy.
Yeah.
Same thing on the number 23 that was mentioned earlier that is not a comedy. We needed someone who had this kind of comedic timing and slapstickitude word. Totally a word. Slapstickitude. It's a word. Don't look it up. I already did. It's there. Yeah.
She's looking it up.
I know. She doesn't do anything I say. Anyway. Yeah. That's kind of the end of my rant.
I see. That makes sense now. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So what else? So it only won those. Michel Gondry did, and this actually goes to my point of you said that it was like, oh, so clearly a Michel Gondry after seeing the music videos. No, the true accolades of this film, as much as I love Michel Gondry, the true accolades of this film are in the writing, in those questions. I
I was gonna say after we sat down and talked afterwards. Now I'm kind of changing my mind now.
Yeah, I mean it's very adaptation. When you look at adaptation and Eternal Sunshine, there's a lot of really strong similarities. Not just the looping, but the what is real and
Yeah.
what is not.
Even though 2 weeks ago, I do believe you said that this movie is so Michelle Gondry.
No, and it is. There were no special, all of the things changing while they're happening,
Mhm.
all of the things were
So
like,
it's kind of like a half and half type of thing, or
well, there's no such, that's like saying who's the musician, the pianist, or the guy who is the musician, Mozart or Tchaikovsky, or the person playing the piano? Well, either one without the other is pretty worthless.
yeah.
Like either, like if Tchaikovsky wrote it down but no one could play it, awesome. If there's a pianist sitting down at a piano with nothing to play, so who is the creative here? Was it Charlie Kaufman with this crazy mind meld, or was it Michel Gondry, the one who could give it context and make it work in a visually entertaining style? And the answer is, this is a remarkably boring conversation that writers and directors, honest to God, fight about, and it drives me up the wall. There was a big, I'm not getting into it on this podcast, it's not the right for it, but there was a big debate in the 90s to 2000s about a something film. Okay. Something film, like a Steven Spielberg film. Is that who wrote it? Is that who directed it? Is that who, what, like, is it really either of their films if you didn't write and direct and produce it? Because who is it? Which is why we have a blank and blank production, a something film written by blank. But without the writer, what are you? Well, then the writers start to think too highly of themselves. Great. You write it, and I can go into my closet and read it and just think happy thoughts. None of it.
Think a happy thought.
None of these exist on a single silo. They are all complex collaborations.
And plus, they probably bounce ideas back and forth.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, some movies are written by 14 people. Some movies are written by one. It is such a collaboration.
It's a collection of ideas.
Right. And so, I mean, then we get even further, like, okay, J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter books, but she did not write the Harry Potter movies. And she didn't, so you have one person who directed it, one person who wrote the screenplay, so where's the genius in that? It's an uninteresting conversation. Why does it matter? Again, I talk about this in my book, which is sitting right next to you. We get so caught up on credit. Well, what is this, a 50-50? Who they're both contributors. They both contributed.
Yeah.
Michel Gondry has done stuff I do not like. Charlie Kaufman has done stuff I do not like. In this movie, I think their synergy was magic.
I see.
Everybody's done something that you don't like.
Everybody has done something everybody doesn't like. Nobody wins everything.
No.
That would be an unreasonable assumption. Like, yeah. But moving on. What's next? Is this the last slide?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are we watching next week, Ronan? Want to go down the Michel Gondry track, or you want to go down the Charlie Kaufman track, or you want to go hard right and stay on the weird relationship track and watch 500 Days of Summer?
I mean, I was thinking about this prior to this week.
Sure.
And one of the things that we recently started doing,
the Jim Carrey track, seems right,
kind of loosely, is watching a movie. One of the people that is linked with that movie watched one of their movies.
Right. That's what I just suggested.
I know. That's what I was saying. Like, we're kind of on that track.
Right. So we can watch Jim Carrey and watch Man on the Moon, which is another non-comedic but remarkably important film. We could go on. Leslie thinks I should just teach you about Manic Pixie Dream Girls now, which would make the next movie Garden State, for the record. And I can trash that movie all day. It's a great movie. It really is, but I can trash it.
We can continue going down the track of everything doesn't make sense.
No, that's what I'm saying. So we can do on Charlie Kaufman and do John Malkovich. We can do being John Malkovich. We can do Jim Carrey and doing Man on the Moon. We can stick with
Be Kind and Rewind.
We can do Be Kind, stick with Michel Gondry and do Be Kind and Rewind, or we can stick with Manic Pixie Dream Girls and go to 500 Days of Summer or Garden State.
I mean, I'm kind of down to do Be Kind and Rewind.
Be Kind and Rewind?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Just so you can make fun of me how much of a child I am.
Well, you are 5 days old.
Wait, 5 days?
5 days.
I wouldn't even be here.
Me.
Negative 13.
I was going to say non-existent.
So, okay. Next week we're watching Be Kind Rewind, the Michel Gondry classic. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. We will do that next. Until such time, I've been Kirk.
I'm Salem.
And I've been Ronan.
And we will see you next week.